ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते ये उपनिषत्सु धर्मा ते मयि सन्तु. In the fifth chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, from section 3 to 10, we are within a story referring to Pravahana Jaivali, the king, and Aruni, also called Gautama, and son Shetaketu. They have both gone to the king and asked for that Vidya which he had asked the son Shetaketu through 5 questions. Now he has started replying to the 5th question first, because that will give us the key to many of the answers. And that question is regarding how they come back from there to this earth. So that there means the absolute highest point, that is Brahmaloka, Dhyuloka. So from there, 2 terms are used: liquids. Water represents man's deserts, the results of his karma which have taken him there. From God's side, it is called faith or Shraddha, because they know that this man has got meditative knowledge also. So the result of his own virtuous highest karmas and his result of the meditative knowledge of some deity together have taken him there. Now he is coming back, and the coming back path is described with 5 junctures, 5 junctions, 5 sections, and in each section we are asked to conceive, visualize that place as a fire, so that in the end we will feel that we have passed through 5 fires to come back to this man's birth again. That will tell us the importance of man's work, but more than that, that will tell us how painful it is. They are not fires, but we have been taught to conceive them as fires. And then how painful it is that through 5 fires we are born as man again. So we continue this path again and again. Again we do virtuous work, gain knowledge, again we go. So that is the main lesson here. So now we have read up to that point, how to conceive. So we are coming back to second mantra of the 4th section. We start from second mantra of the 4th section. Tasmin etasmin agnau devaha shraddham yavati tasya ahute somo raja samavati. In that fire of the highest heaven, gods give as oblation faith, and by that oblation King Moon is born. So King Moon represents the first form which he gets while coming down. From the Brahmaloka, he has come down one stage, and that form of his is King Moon. We read the commentary now. Tasmin etasmin yathokta lakshane agnav. Agni which has already been described. In that Agni, Deva, Yajamana Prana, Agnyadi Rupam, Adi Daivatam. These gods are nothing but the Indriyas of the worshipper, of the host of the sacrifice, in the form of Agni Devata and all other 5 devatas of his organs. Shraddha, meaning here Shraddham, Agnihotra, Ahuti, Parinamavastha, Rupa. Shraddha here means the effect of Ahuti. Ahuti represents man's all good works. So the result of man's all good works along with meditation is represented by the word Shraddha or faith. Sukshma apa Shraddha bhavita, that very subtle water which was his work, the result of his works, but gods think of it as Shraddha because they know that Uchante, they know that he has done sufficient meditation and gained the knowledge of some God definitely. Panchamyam ahutau apa purushovachaso bhavanti, and this very thing in the 5th oblation through 5 fires, it will become by the known of Purusha, the sacrificer. Again, that means it will get human birth again. Apam homyataya prashne shrutatvat, because it is about this water that the question has been asked. Shraddha va apam, or Shraddha itself is water. Shraddha meva arabhya praniya pracharanti. So people start their sacrifices through Shraddha only. So Shraddha is same as that water. Iti cha vigyayate. We know through this. Tam Shraddham abrupam juvati. So that very Shraddha, which is water, has been given as oblation. I told you that by Nikhilananji's translation only I could understand everything connectively. Tasya ahute, by that oblation, Somo Raja, apam Shraddha Vacyanam Diloka Agno Hutanam Parinama Somo Raja Sambhavati. So that water, same called Shraddha, when it was offered as an oblation, the resultant form is called the King Moon. Yatha Rigvedadi Pushparasa Rugadi Madhukaropanita te aditye yashadi karye rohitadi rupa lakshanam arabhante iti uktam tatha ima agnihotra huti samyavayanya sukshma shabdavacha apo dulokam anupravishya chandram karyamarambhante Falarupam Agnihotra Ahutyo. Now, in the 3rd chapter, in the 1st section, it was told that the Rigveda and others are flowers and their juice is picked up by bees. Bees also are the hymns of Rigveda. And then in the sun, red white, black, like this, three forms came, and from them all Srishti came. That was told in the third chapter. In the same way, Agnihotra Ahuti is connected. The Shraddha word, actually it is the subtle water. When it comes to the Dulok, there, enters there. So there it starts its own result, and that result is called King Soma. That is the result. Soma is the result of all the effects of all oblations along with the meditative knowledge. Yajamanasya tatkartaram tatkartar ahutimaya ahuti bhavana bhavita ahuti rupena karmana krushta shraddha ap samavayino dulokam anupravishya somabhuta bhavanti. The net effect is that it is the sadhak, that sadhak who is doing those works and meditation. He is being called ahuti. That oblation, whether water or faith, is actually the sadhak who has gone to the loka. And that sadhak has become moon now. So, actually, it is the jiva who had gone to the Duloka. He is coming back as man, and so the first form which he gets through that first fire is called King Moon. You understand now? That we had called it water, we had called it Shraddha, but actually it is the sadhak who has done all the sacrifices and gained all the knowledge through meditation, through experiential knowledge. We are talking about that sadhak. So that sadhak had its own form in the Brahmaloka. Now, after that first fire, after getting burned in that fire, he has become now moon. His body has become now, he has gone to Chandraloka. That is the meaning. Meaning is that he has gone to Chandraloka now. Tadarthamitair Agnihotram Hutam. It was for that going to Duloka that he had done all the works and knowledge. Atra tu ahuti parinama eva panchagni sambandha kramenam pradhanena vyakshita upasanartham na yajamananam gati. Here we are not interested in how the sacrificer had gone. Here we are interested mainly to get connected with 5 fires. We are mainly to get connected with 5 fires. Tam tu avidusham dhumadi kramena uttaratra vakshati. The going and coming will be described more in relation with the only karmis who go by the path of smoke, darkness, etc. to moon. So we are not describing here the sadhak's gati to the moon. We are more interested in making the sadhak connected with panchagnis through which he has now come to moon. From Duloka, he has come to moon. In that we are interested. We are not interested like the south path, how he went to the moon. Upasanartham. It is all for the sake of meditation that we are describing this. Tam tu avidusham dhumadi kramena uttaratra vakshati. That gati, how a man goes to moon, will be described otherwise in other sections, because that man's aim was to go to Moonloka. This man's aim is not go to Moonloka. This man has gone to Dyoloka. But we are talking of moon. He has come to moon only because we want to connect all his effort with the 5 fires to feel vairagya. So, Uttaram Vidya Avidya Krutam Vidusham Cha Uttaram Vidya Krutam. We are now talking of the men of relative knowledge who have gone by the northern path to sun. We are not talking of the other path people who go to moon only. He has gone to sun, and from that Dyoloka he has become moon. That is what we want to, Rishi wants to describe here. Beautiful commentary. Now we go to the 5th section. Parjanyo Vava Gautama Agni Tasya Vayurev Samit Abram Dhumo Vidyud Arji Ashani Angara Radhanayo Visfulinga. So, second fire is being described. That raining is the Agni. Raining is the Agni. Wind is the wood to burn in the fire. Smoke which rises from the fire is the white clouds. The lightning is the flame, archi. Ashani, the lightning shines. It is like Ashani means the effect of that lightning, actual shining of that lightning. Angara. Angara, you have to understand, you go back to old India. All the fire were burned through firewood, samida. And when the firewood is burnt, it becomes live charcoal. That live charcoal is called Angara. So what is the Angara here? That shining of the lightning. Ladanayo Visfulinga, and that thunder sound is like the sparks coming out of that live charcoal. So another fire has been forced upon us to conceive by giving something similar to it, and Shankar will explain what is the points of similarity. So we have been told, Dvitiya Homa Paryayarthamaha, second sacrifice fire. What are the alternates for that? What are the similar things for that? Is being described. Parjanyo Vava, Parjanyo Eva, Parjanya, rainfall itself. Gautama, Agni. Rainfall itself is Agni. What is meaning? Meaning is that Jiva is now coming through rain. That Jiva who had become moon, gone to Moonloka, is now coming down with rain. Understood? The being, the semen, the Jiva has risen to the highest, and he is coming down, taking different forms. So it took the form of moon, now has taken the form of rain. We can understand that from rain we get further plants. We'll see that. From rain, plants. From plants, eaten by man, becomes his semen, that when it goes woman's yoni, it becomes jiva in the new birth, and then it will come out. So that is being described. All these five are described as fires. So here, Parjanyo Nama Vrushti Upakarana Vimani Devata Vishesha. Here, rain also means a god to whose loka he has gone. Rain is its instrument, that god. That god whose instrument is rain, to that man has come down. Tasya Vayureva Samit, wind blows, that itself is like firewood, because that will ignite the fire. Vayunahi Parjanyo Agni Samiddhate. So if that rain is called fire, then it is ignited by wind. Puravatadi Prabalya Vrushti Darshana. When we know eastern winds are coming, then we know rain is coming. So it is through the wind that the rain got ignited as if to form itself, came down as rain. Ashwa, Dhuma, Abra, Dhumo. Abra, white clouds are clouds. White is called smoke because smoke is the result of Agni. So the Bhuma Karyatvat, Dhuma Karyatvat, Dhuma Vachya Lakshamanatvat. So we see, we do not see the fire. It becomes engulfed in smoke. So we see smoke. That is what we see, like smoke. And it is the effect of fire. Smoke is the effect of fire. And instead of seeing fire, we are seeing the smoke only. With Vidyut Archihi, that flame is lightning. Prakasha Samanyat, because though both are light. Ashanir Angara. Ashani, the electric falling, is the Angara, the live charcoal. Kathinyad, because it is hard when that electric falls. Vidyut Sambandhatva, or because it is connected with that lightning, that it is called live charcoal, connected with fire. Ladanayo Visfulinga, the sound of the thunder are sparks. Ladanayo Garjita Shabda Meghanam Viprakirinatva Samanyat. Now when the thunder is there, the clouds get separated. Like that, sparks are separated from the live charcoals. So, separation is the similarity, and so that falling of light thunder is called spark. Tasmin, now the main point has come. We had assumed that. Tasmin etasmin agnau deva somaraja nam jivvadi. Tasya ahuter varsham sambhavati. So in this burning fire, God's monsoon indriyas put as oblation that moon king. That jiva which had gone to the moon loka has to get burnt in this fire called rain. Rain is not fire, but rain is imagined, meditated upon as fire, and we have to feel that jiva which had gone to the moon loka is now getting burnt in this fire. Tasmin etasmin agnau, in this fire, Deva Purvavat, Devas are like previously organs of man. Somam Rajanam Javati, they burn this king moon. Tasya Ahuter Varsham Sambhavati. So rain becomes active only through moon. The rain becomes active through moon. That is what is conceived by those people. Shraddhakya apam somakara parinama parinata dvitiya pare. So that Shraddha or water which had meaning. Meaning is that Shraddha, which is water, had become moon, that now has become rain. Shraddha, Ahuti, which represents the sadhaka himself, had become moon, got a moon body, and that now gets rain body, so that Jiva is coming through the rain. We enter the sixth khanda. Prithvi Vava Gautama Agnihi Tasya Samvatsara Eva Samit Akasho Dhumo Ratrirarchi Disho Angara Avantara Disho Visfulinga. O Gautam, Prithvi is the next fire. The whole year is its firewood. Sky is the smoke. Night is the flame. Directions are live charcoal. The other four directions are Urdu and below, they are the sparks. Because the sparks come out of fire, of live charcoals. Shankar says, Prithvi Vava Gautama Agni Rityadi Purvavat. Shankar says, the explanation of that part is like that only. Prithvi has been imagined as fire because that rain will come to earth and then become plants. So it is like getting burnt in the earth to become plants. Tasya Prithvikasya Agne, so that Agni called Prithvi, Samvatsara eva Samit. Whole year rotation of the whole year is called the firewood. Samvatsarene kalena samita prithvi vriyadi nishpattaye bhavati. So when all the seasons of the year are over, then different effects of different seasons combine into making that rain into plants. So rain to plants, the effect is the rotation of the whole year. Different seasons only make that water into plants. Vriyadi nishpattaye bhavati vriyadi. Barley, etc. That was the oldest grains. Vrihi, paddy and other grains. Akasho dhuma, sky is called the smoke. Prithivya iva uttita akasho drishyate, as if from earth sky has risen. From earth sky has risen, as if we see like that. So from Prithvi is the fire, from that smoke has risen. The whole secret is in ability through the similarities to imagine five fires. That is the main purpose. You may feel it is similar, not similar, but we have to meditate like that. And then the effect will come. Yatha Agnair Dhuma, as smoke rises from fire, sky has risen from earth. Ratrir Archihi, night is the flame, because Prithvi does not appear lighted. So, according to that, in the night only all this thing we are seeing growing and all that. So, Ratri is to be imagined as flame. Night, flame, because Prithvi is without light, so it is similar to Prithvi. Prithvi, if Agni, then flame is night. Similar to Prithvi. Prithvi has no light. Ratri has no light. Prithvi is Agni. Night is smoke, flame. Tamorupatvat, because it is dark in color. Agni river, Anurupamarchi. So, corresponding to Agni, we have got the flame. Prithvi dull, that is Agni. Then night without light, that is flame. Understand, we have to meditate like that. Disho Angara, directions are the live charcoal, Upashantatva Samanyat, because when the firewood has burnt, then the live charcoal comes. So, when in the night, everything becomes peaceful, and then we feel the directions. The directions are felt only in the night. We know them. This is east, this is west. And Avantara Disho, the side directions, Shudratva, Visvalinga, Shudratva, Samanyat. Because they are secondary, so they are like spark. Imagine, contemplate. Tasmin etasmin agnau deva varsham juvati tasya ahuter annam sambhavati. So, in that fire of Prithvi, organs of man give as oblation the rains, and from that food, nutritive plants are born. Tasmin ityadi samanam, same meaning, tasya ahuter annam vriyavadi sambhavati. Paddy, barley, etc. plants come from that. All these are contemplation. 7th section. Purusho vava gautama agni tasya vageva samit prano dhumo juva archi chakshurangara shrotram vispulinga. Imagine, this Purusha himself is Agni Gautam. Tasya Vageva Samet. His Vani itself is the fuel wood. Vachai Mukhena Samiddhate Purusho Namuka. If a man is dumb, then he is not felt by other people. A man is felt by other people, he becomes live for other people only when he speaks. So, Vani is the firewood. Pranodhuma, that which comes out of mouth, is called prana. That is smoke. because it is coming out while man is speaking. Similarity, force may be, but by contemplation you have to make it real. So, when one speaks, wind comes out of mouth. That is smoke, because it comes out of mouth. Jiva archir lohitatvat. Now flame is tongue, because tongue is red, flame is red. So Jiva is like flame. Chakshur angara. Masa ashrayatvat. Chakshu are the support of light. Through eyes with light we see. So Chakshu are support of light. So they are called the live charcoal. Different simile at different points. Shrotram is Pullinga, ears are sparks. Viprakirinatva samanyat, because they are away. Live charcoal, sparks, because they are away. Imagination complete, contemplation, tasmin etasmin agno deva annam juvati tasya ahute retas sambhavati. So God means man's different indriyas, that they eat that plants. The hunger, etc., eat that plants. And then that is like God suffering the oblation. And by that oblation, man's semen is born. That means that jiva, which had become moon, had become rain, had become plants, is now become semen of man. Sambhavati. Samanamanyat, Shankar says everything is similar here. Annam juvati, vriyadi sanskritam. So after purification of cleaning of rice, etc., paddy becomes cleaned into rice, and then that man eats tasya autereta sambhavati, that becomes semen by that oblation. 8th section. Yosha vava gautama agni tasya upastha eva samit yad upamantrayate sadhumo yonirarchi yad antak karoti te angara abhinanda vispulinga. Without any shame or so-called modesty, civilized behavior, here we find a clear description of the sex act of man through woman's yoni, through her generative organ. Very clear, evident, without any modesty. Yosha Vava Gautamagni, woman indeed is, O Gautama, the fire. Tasya Upastha Eva Samit, the generative organ is the firewood. Yad Upamantrayate, the man invites that girl, woman, that is called smoke. Yonir Archir, Yoni Archi. Flame is that vulva. Yad anta karoti te angara. What the man does inside, what the linga, penis of man does inside that yoni is called live charcoal. Abhinanda, and the pleasure which the man gets through that is called sparks. Graphic description. Without any hiding or modesty or so-called civilization, because of two things. The whole act has to be raised into a sacrifice. Whole act of sex union is to be raised as a sacrifice. Secondly, our Agni thing is starting to understand that is fire through which we get burned to be born as a man. Remember, enjoyment and all that is all right, but that is like a fire through which we are to be born again as man. This is addressed to man only, definitely. Shankar says, Yosha Vava Gautama Agni. Woman is indeed the fire. Tasya upastha eva samit te nahi sa putradi utpadanaya samiddate. Shankar has also explained in this graphic way that for begetting a son and daughter, etc., she gets ignited only through that part. The generative organ. Yad upamantrete sadhuma stri samavad upamantranasya. Upamantran, the foreplay as it is called, man attracting, inviting the woman, woman attracting, inviting the man. That is called upamantrana. Sri Samavad, that source is Sri. That is what Shankar says. Man calls her, but that source is Sri's attraction. Both ways. Yonir Arche Lohitatvat, that particular part, Valva, is flame because it is red. Yad antakaroti te angara, whatever the man or his penis does inside, and light charcoal, because it is connected with that fire. That fire, sex, is connected with what it does inside. So it is like live charcoal. Visfuling Abhinanda means Sukhalava. Here pleasure means particles of happiness. Visfulinga Shudratvat. Only because it is a particle very, very small. Remember Shankar says, so it is called sparks. Compared to the joy of union with God, these are nothing. But they are parts of that. So sparks. Tasmine tasmin agnau, in that this fire, deva, man's organs, everything belongs to man, mind, organs and everything. Reto juvvati, that semen is deposited, put as oblation. Tasya ahuter garbha sambhavati. By that oblation, the fetus is born. Child in the womb is born, fetus is born. Tasmin agnau deva reto juvvati. So, similar, the gods, man's indriyas, have put that semen into that fire. Tasya ahuter garbha sambhavati. By that oblation, the womb, the fetus is formed. Evam Shraddha Soma Varsha Anna. Shraddha Soma Varsha Anna Reto Havana Paryaya Kramena Apa eva Garbhi Bhuta Stha. So, in this order. Shankara has told us from the beginning. Shraddha or water, Varsha, Shraddha, Soma, moon, Chandralok, Varsha, Parjanyalok, food, Prithvilok, Ret, semen in man, Havanaparyaya Kramena, these are all put as oblations in this order. Apa eva garbhibhuta bhavanti. So, water in the womb is the result of all that. Tatra apam ahuti samavayatvat pradhanya vivaksha apam panchamyam ahuto purushochaso bhavanti. Now there, that water Shruti, the Vedas, Rishi wants to give importance to that water, which semen he has put in the womb. Therefore, it is said that the fifth oblation becomes man. Because the whole thing, the rishis want to give importance to the semen or the sex act. So it is said that through that fire of sex act, man is born. It is along with that ahuti. So this is given importance. Natu apa eva kevala somadhi karyamarambande. It is not water as such alone which has become moon and rain and plant and all that. Soma nacha apo atra trivrut krita santi iti. Now remember, the whole Srishti was told as Teja Apa Prithvi. In Chāndogyopaniṣad, Panchabhutas were not there. Akasha and Vayu were not told, because what we see first is Teja. So remember that whole creation of the world was told through Teja, water, earth. Atrivrit krita karyamarambate. Unless these three are compounded, the effect does not come of the gross world. Nacha apo atrivrit krita santi. Now, in the water itself, it is never pure subtle water. All the other elements are combined with it. Even then it is called water. Trivrit kritatve api vishesha sangya labho drishta prithvi iyam ima apo ayam agnir iti atyantam atyanta iti anyatama bahulya nimitta. One of them is more prominent, so we get this name. Tej, water, earth, they are not themselves producing this gross world. They are combinedly only producing the gross world. And when we say they are already combined, they are called by that name only because that is more prominent there. When we say water, gross, we mean subtle water, Tej and Prithvi. But in that, water is predominant, so we call it water. When we see Tej, in that water, earth is combined with Tej, but Tej is more prominent, so we call it Tej. In earth, gross, water, Tej are combined, but gross, the earth element is more prominent, so we call it earth. Shankara has explained these things again. Bahulya nimittatvat, because of prominence. Tasmat samuditani eva bhutani ab bahulyat karma samavayini somadhikarya arambakani apayiti uchante. So why the whole thing is called water? Rain and this and that, and in the womb again water. So why the water is given prominence of all that? Because in water you can feel earth and also tej, you can feel in water. So somadhikarya makani apayiti uchante. So water is the name given to all these products. Drishyate cha drava bahulyam somavrushti anna reto deshu. He says we can also see or feel that watery element is more in all these. In the liquid element, in moon, in rain, in food, in semen, in body, in all that, we see the water is prominent. Bahudravam cha shariram yadyapi parthivam. Body is like matter. Body is more like earth, and yet it is product of many liquids inside. Though body appears as solid, but inside many liquids are there. Tatra panchamyam ahuti hutayam reto rupa apo garbhi bhutam. There the fifth oblation through water is when it is offered in the form of semen, then the fetus in the womb comes. Understood? All five fires are described. So, ninth section. Iti tu panchamyam ahutau apa purushavachaso bhavanti iti sa ulbhavruto garbho dashava navava masan antashaitva yavadva atha jayate. So, in this way, the fifth oblation, water gets the name of Purusha, man, that covered by the womb, that fetus, 10 months or 9 months, as it may be, sleeping inside, or unless it becomes full, 10 months or 9 months or whatever time, unless that fetus becomes perfected, full, it remains sleeping inside. Atha jayate. After that it is born. I think we should stop here. The commentary and of this mantra and 9th and 10th sections we shall read on the next Wednesday. We have seen today how all fires and graphic description of this sex act to enhance its importance and the process of procreation is fully explained. Om apyayantu mamangani vakpranaschakshushrotramatho balamindriya nicha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu तदात्मनि निरते ये उपनिषत्सु धर्मा ते मयि सन्तु ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।